Carl Gibson signed for £50,000 from nearby Batley. Mark Conway's taken the #1 shirt. And the number 8 there, Jeff Gratian. Well, what a player he's been. He was with Bradford Northern. There he's with Peter Fox. He'd always hoped to get to a Wembley final. Not be too surprised. There he is, Jeff Gratian. If there wasn't a tear or two in his eye on Thursday night when he knew that he wasn't with Leeds this year going to go to Wembley. Well, Hull Kingston Rovers, so often in the honours. They were Challenge Cup winners in 82-83 and 84-85. Division 1 champions in 82-83. But this year it's the other Hull, Hull KR, that are riding high and handsome and at Wembley. Hull with 4 Antipodean players. Gary Campbell at fullback. James Luluai, the number 3, very talented players. Dane O'Hara at 5. And Freddie there at number 6. But a whole host of players there. Great talent. Measure of internationals, 8 in the lead side and 10 in the Hull side. And it's Hull at kick-off. Ball long and deep. The game important to both sides. Kevin Dickin at acting half-back very quickly. Here's Jeff Gratian. Very, very strong player. And a player much admired by my co-commentator, the Great Britain Rugby League coach, Maurice Bamford.
Yeah, super player, Jeff, and very experienced. There's quite a lot of experienced players. That was a marvellous kick there, Tilly Webb, the Australian, playing for Leeds with number 9.
Welcome back, Argentina.
Club in Brisbane. A marvellous kick there that gained 40, 50 yards, Tony.
And now the scrimmage down, just inside Hull territory. The scrimmage of the game. And a differential penalty. Remember those that have been watching us in recent weeks. The penalty in the scrimmage can't be kicked for goal. The opportunity for touch now, taken by David Chris. One of the 2 Rain brothers, Keith Rain. Having a little dummy there and a few yards gained just inside the Hull 22. Kevin Dick again. Gratian making a dummy to Dick, and then almost breaking through there. Good move indeed. Aaron. Roy Powell acting half-back, the Great Britain player. Oh, and the ball just coming out of Jeff Gratian's fingers with a knock-on.
Well, he's lost a good opportunity there of keeping Hull under pressure, Tony. If Jeff could have held that pass, the kick would have most likely come on the next series, on the next tackle, to keep Hull under pressure inside their own 25. But unfortunately, Jeff spilt the pill.
Andy Gascoigne, just outside the 22-metre line of Hull. This is Crooks. Trevor Skerritt, Neil Warhorse of the character. And still Hull, just inside their own half. Crooks. Oh, and managing to get that ball just a little bit further. Campbell, having it made available for him. But it's the scrimmage down on the halfway line.
Superb little pass there, Johnny, by Louis Crooks, that put Gary Campbell into the hole, and Gary unfortunately did what Jeff Gratian did only, lost the ball.
Roy Powell, big, strong player. Still keeps going. Kevin Dick. Acting halfback. Gratian should receive. Does.
Nice little elbow there by Kevin Rain to protect himself from Andy Gascoigne's tackle. Just caught Andy under the chin. A little bit low to do any damage, but we'll have to watch it. Andy going out to big fouls like Kevin Rain.
Still Leeds keeping possession. Only just. Integration. Gratian changes direction. Roy Powell was waiting for it but didn't get it. It's coming out to the 60. And that is going to go just there. I thought it might have made inside the corner flag, but it doesn't.
So being kicked into dead by Terry Webb there for Leeds. Tony will get a restart with a tap kick to Hull on in the middle of their 25.
Reasonable crowd here today. You can't say more than that, but perhaps reflecting on the money they've had to spend on those 2 replays in the Challenge Cup before Leeds going out. But Hull supported well, I'm sure, on Humberside, but not one of their best seasons. Knocker Norton. Great traditions in the game. Seems to be about forever, Morris.
Yes, he had quite a long spell at Castleford, then of course he had a spell in Australia, doing a Hull a few years. He's been a grand servant to the game, Steve Norton. A very good, one of the best loose forward footballers we've had for many, many years.
Oh, we're still inside their own territory.
Young Arn at the second row forward goal there, Tony didn't quite get his timing right off that pass. Consequently, forward pass scrum down. Leeds will get the heading ball.
And I'm looking at 1 or 2 of the numbers on the players' shirts. It appears that just before they came out, 1 or 2 have changed round. Notice that Arnott, in fact, is wearing 12, and Steve Knocker Norton wearing 11. Still 15 yards inside their own territory. Gary Schofield with the kick, giving Hull the advantage of moving really for the first time in the game into Leeds territory, and can they use it? Too far off the 22. Roy Powell. Keith Rain was making a ball before. This is Norton. Gary Campbell, his troubles, descends on his backside. Inside the 22, Hull. Chance now for Hull. Getting close on that line. Moving right across the line, Norton making it available for Crooks. Crooks with a little kick ahead. Line in that corner, but just, hacked away there, right on the line. So the first, a real chance of the game going to Hull.
Good attacking play there by Hull and Lee Crooks in particular. He running diagonal to the corner, Tony. Little grubber kick into the in-goal area, or tried to find the in-goal area, caused Leeds a great deal of pressure, finished up having to kick the ball into touch.
So, important scrimmage. Oh, gratefully accepted by Leeds. Norton in again. Creation into a complete set of Hull cover. Little Kevin, very tricky player. Heron, the late skipper, down to the ground. Now is that one going to find the touch? No, it's not. New Zealand to Gary Campbell, chance to run it round. Got help on the outside of him. They're trying to run. Almost up to the halfway line.
Both Hull wingers trying to link in well from Gary Campbell. Dano Ara made a lot of ground then to link up and take the pass from him. It makes much more yardage than the fullback just running it out.
Going forward again, Trevor Skerritt. Sean Patrick. Knocker Norton, back again to Norton. Crooks. And Jeff Gratian is making absolutely certain that Crooks goes to ground. 10 minutes gone in this game. Leeds 0, Hull 0. And there's the bomber up ahead. And Hull managed also to get the ball. The referee in very, very quickly.
Yes, and that's the end of the series of 6 tackles. That was Gascoigne caught the ball on the full, so that was the 6th tackle. And so it's Leeds possession with the play of the ball.
Kevin Dick in an acting half-back position. Roy Powell does the juggling act, but manages to keep the ball somehow stuck to his fingers. And this action replay. Dick in acting half-back. Gratian. Aaron. Oh, and the ball going anywhere but where it should, and now Hull have got it. Carl Arnott. Lee Crooks. Big, strong lad, this fella. Kicked an absolutely vital goal for Maurice Bamford against the New Zealanders. The final test here to square all the series. Now Hull looking to get the first points on the board. Sean Patrick in an acting half-back. Oh, good, strong running right on that line. Gary Devorty, really close to the chalkless marks. Oh, right by that corner, no problem there. Absolutely no problem at all. Try in the corner. Dane O'Hara, the man who got it. Well scored, well engineered, and absolutely no difficulty.
Yes, and that, when we see it on video, no doubt, Tony, we're going to see the absolute vital part that Gary Schofield's long pass made in this try, moving it to Hull's left, and his pass actually put James Lullo on the outside of their crease, and they gave Dane O'Hara. Here it comes, Schofield, big wide pass. Look at the beautiful pass there. Put Lullo on the outside of creaser, just slips the ball to Dane O'Hara, and he has a walk in at the corner. But the architect of the try, Gary Schofield's long pass, a beauty.
I was talking a couple of minutes ago about this guy who's about to kick now on that far side, Lee Crooks, and that wonderful kick that I think you'll remember till your dying day, Maurice Bamford, for you, for the Great Britain side.
I will, Tony. Ellen Road, a position like this, only the opposite side of the field, a marvellous kick, and it draws a series. Super play, Lee.
The ball just goes over.
He did say after the match, you know, Tony, the particular one at Ellen Road in the last Kiwi test, that he couldn't have missed him. Anyone he kicked, he could have kicked that day. He just couldn't miss it. He took 3 and kicked 3. Marvellous kicker.
Doesn't seem to bother him ever at all. Almost from the touchline, maybe you can see there just about a yard or so away. A little bit of wind here too. Up go the flags. It's a marvellous kick from Lee Crooks.
And that's the sort of lad he is. Tremendous temperament, big match temperament, and this is a big match for Hull. The Leeds versus Hull matches are always big matches, and Leeds the man for the job.
And of course Hull and their supporters. Very keen to be in the Premiership. I think they'd say that they'd salvaged something from the season. They got into that, and who knows? The traditions that go with Hull and their support might even manage to come away with something if they got into it.
There we see the winger again coming in to take the first play of the ball from Kemble's tackle.
Sean Patrick. 10 metres from the halfway line. Dr. Norton in acting half-back. Quick switch on that side. Schofield not able to make any real ground there. Gary Devorty. That was quickly switched to Andy Gascoigne.
A very good cover tackle there from Jeff Gratian. He did well to get back to the big man.
I'm just looking at the whole side. You'll have noticed that 3 there and not 4 as we saw earlier in the captions. A quick change of the shirts showing Gary Schofield, and there's Mr. Jerry Kershaw, the referee, showing 1 or 2 other people what to do. And that's come down just about 5 metres from the 22. So 3 and 4 the other way around. 3 Gary Schofield, 4 James Lulawai for Hull, but it's Leeds with the ball. Carl Gibson recently signed £50,000 from Batley. Kevin Dick. Third man up to the one who eventually gets that ball is Sean Patrick. Here's Crooks, measured that pass quite well. It'll be switched back inside. All those that said ooh and ah around here, not measured as a high tackle. And again, Lee Crooks.
I think Hull have got to keep this ball moving and look for holes in the Leeds defence, just on the outside of the forward defensive line.
And that just popped into the air, but he's picked up the Morty. Sidestep, post ahead of him. In he goes. Absolutely no problem about that. Opportunism at its very best, Morris.
Yes, and there we saw a bit of a defensive lapse, another tired look of this Leeds team. So many hard matches lately. The ball was on the ground. It appeared to be on the ground about 10 minutes before Devotie came and picked it up, Tony, and looked like a tired side to Leeds.
So Gary Devotie, delighted no doubt with that try, taking the scoreline here at Headingley.
Here we see it, Tony. Run round from Skurrit, a little dumb, and then a fairly wildish pass from Skurrit that goes apparently nowhere. Look how long the ball's bouncing about. Devotie comes in, picks the ball, watch his prop off his right foot. Outside young Mark Conway, the standing full back, and it's too much pace for Mark. Beautiful try, right under the H's, and he makes sure with a good touchdown.
And I'm sure you've seen enough of those kicks from straight in front of the post to know that Lee Crooks would have no difficulty with it. Adding another couple of points to the tally. So we now stand with a check on the watch to some 17 minutes past the hour at 3 o'clock here in this game. Leeds 0 as we saw, Hull 12. And we've got 3 bars of an incident there.
Well, I can't understand that, Tony. James, a Hull winger, again, Hull using this ploy of bringing the wingers in. Devotie caught the ball from the kick-off, turned inside to find James being willing to bring it out. James apparently lost the ball on the first tackle. That surely should have been an advantage to Leeds. Grayson dropped on it, but Mr. Kershaw says scrum down.
Kevin Dick switched very quickly and not too long there, and Dick is in the acting half-back position. Buckenham made the tackle. David Heron. Powell. Just flicking it out. Can Gibson get on it? Gibson can! Oh, Leeds could reply here. No, they won't. Leeds go forward. Neil Haig. Duration turns, looks to try and make it available. Terry Webb in acting half-back. David Heron, Roy Powell, quickly inside to Keith Rain. Here's the chance. No. There's the try line, just ahead of that. Kevin Dick will put it up. And where will it come down? Bounces just about anywhere at all. Grayson, thank you very much. All he needs to do is go to his knees. Morris.
Well, Jeff won't score any more softer tries. I don't think he's ever scored a softer try as that, Tony, while he's played many, many years in the professional game. Marvellous little kick up from Kevin Dick. Here we see it. Out to Kevin Dick. Just look how he measures this kick. Not a hard one, just drops it into the in-goal area. Gary Kemble's at fault. Here he comes, all hell for leather, tries to catch the ball, hits him, bounce over, look where Jeff stood. Catches it on the first and just pops a yard over the line. Super try.
I think even you and I, Morris, with those from Compton Talk, could have got that one.
I think I'd have got them myself, Tony, with a bit of luck.
So just as we see that Hull are pulling away, 12 points to 0 to the good. This game of rugby league turns us round with 19 minutes, with the sight in front of us of David Creaser kicking for the Hull Sticks, and right between them. So the scoreline, as we come almost to the end of the first quarter of this game, Leeds 6, Hull 12.
And it's wide open from a bit of a soft try by Jeff Grayson, but there was nothing soft about the kick. It was a superbly judged kick from Kevin Dick. But the actual finishing off of the kick, the catch on the first bounce by Jeff, was not a Hull player within 10 yards of him. It's thrown the door, Tony, wide open to this game at 12-6.
David Heron looks one way, goes the other. Roy Powell. There's Kevin Rain. Both Keith and Kevin Rain, 10 and 12, both Great Britain full internationals. Long kick. Good kick too. Has Hull charging back in the shape of Gary Campbell. Almost back over his own line. That's where they're going to try and run it out from, but not too far.
That was a super kick by Kevin Dick, Tony. Didn't go for touch, went just for position and got position. The ball actually stopped in the Hull in goal area. Over 100 yards to come back downfield. Superb kick.
Hull with possession, Lee Crooks. And again. Well, off his chest, I think. No. The referee, Jerry Kershaw, nearer than I, says it was a knock-on and it'll be a scrum down.
Tony, it's got to be, if it comes off his chest, it's got to be classed as a knock-on. The arms or the chest area is a knock-on. If it comes off his legs, if he'd have blocked it with his legs, it would have been playing.
The referee, Jerry Kershaw, has that scrimmage. Just a couple of metres. Hull pedal on and rewarded with the ball coming out of the back of the scrimmage. On the halfway line. Gary Schofield working for the McCoy. Just knock it on.
This young Arnott's having a very busy game at 12 for Hull. It's the first time I've seen him, Tony. Looks a very good prospect indeed.
Well, noticed then by Maurice Bamford, the co-commentator, the Great Britain Rugby League coach. Young Carl Arnott, a local prospect from Hull. Brooks. Not out.
Superb line kick. Superb line kick by Lee Crooks. This again's a mark of what the lad can do, Tony. He's not only a good footballer with the ball in his hands, he's also a marvellous kicker.
Andy Smith there. Gentle respite just for the moment. And that scrimmage fairly close to the line. We're going Leeds' way. And Kevin Dick tries to make his way around the open side. Oh. Morris, a quick question for you on Roy Powell. I seem to remember you one time telling me that he went when playing for you to the wrong ground for a game.
Yes, beginning of a season at the Wigan Sevens, he went to Widnes, did Roy, and couldn't understand why there were nobody at the Widnes ground, and finally made his way over to Wigan from Widnes, and we'd been knocked out in the first round, so he got there just for boozing time.
23 minutes of this game gone here at Headingley. Leeds 6, Hull 12, the scoreline. Leeds come away from their own 22. Again, a long kick. Campbell takes that. Switch back inside. Nice switch back inside. Skerritt just gets over that halfway line as the sun comes out. Crooks. Oh, Schofield. Round one. Can he make it? Going something just to the side of the post. No problem about that one. We could be in for tries galore this afternoon. That one down to Gary Schofield, another Great Britain player. Another sidestep too, similar in fact to the one previously, Morris.
That's one of his specialities, and the other speciality is backing up and supporting Lee Crooks. Here we see it. Lee Crooks, big lead, drives it in. Look at Schofield's position on his left. Slips the ball. What a beautiful piece of support. But now look at this step of his right foot. Poor Mark Conway again, twice in the game. David comes in from the left, but has no pace to match this kid. This kid can run. He pins his ears back and goes over with no problem at all. Superb try from a superb Great Britain player. And
taking us with a scoreline now of Leeds 6, Hull 16. Lee Crooks' kick. See, just to the side of this right-hand post. There it is. Through it goes. Leeds 6, Hull 18 it is, and we've been playing some 24 minutes here at Headingley. There's Lee Crooks, no doubt delighted with that kick, but also delighted with the performance of his side so far.
Yes, I'm sure he is. I mean, Lee's been a kingpin for Hull today. Everything that they've done has stemmed from him, either kicking the ball or driving the ball in or slipping passes. Skurrit's had a strong game at 10 as well. And the front row for Hull have played remarkably well. And then you've got these support players like Gary Schofield, and Leeds could be in a bit of trouble. That was a bad mistake from an seasoned international player, Dane O'Hara, all the time in the world, and he missed the kick-off from the centre spot and actually knocked the ball over his own dead ball line, so consequently be a drop out to Hull from under the posts.
Which should, in fact, unless there's a similar sort of knock-on, give Leeds possession and Leeds a chance to come back. Mark Conway. Outside the 22. Tony Webb, the Australian player, giving it to Jeff Gratian, as English as you can make him. Kevin Dick, switch back inside. Brain. Oh, but the ball comes away, and again, it's Carl Arnott.
Young Arnott did very well there, Tony. Robbed the ball off Keith Rain, and carried on and made some good yardage with a good sidestep and took play well away from the danger area for Hull.
Hull now 10 yards outside their own 22. Skerritt. Quickly up, catching half-back Sean Patrick. Freddie Okoye. Lee Crooks keeps him moving on that far side. O'Hara gets a look in. Or James Luluai does. And this is powerful. Oh! Chapter of errors. Way on it is. Mark Conway with the ball, the great under 21 international, gets it shifted fairly quickly out to Andy Smith. Andy Smith finds his way to his feet. Kevin Dickett acting half-back. Powell with the job of making ground, makes it, just he could have just kept his feet there, by the way, another yard or two, but did very well to make the yards he did. Helen, and Helen is through that now, he's got support with him, both sides, Kevin Dick, Helen plays well, Dick, he's got the legs to run that fast, the legs were pumping, it's Gary Campbell that picked it up, but my goodness, it could have been a try that would have brought Leeds straight back into that game very quickly. And Helen was through for the moment. There were two options to him. And Kevin Dick, I'm sure, very quick off the mark, but perhaps it was the other option that was available for the try, Morris.
Yes, we've looked earlier. It was the pass of Neil Higgs that put David and slicing through the hole. Anybody else barring Kevin, and it may have been spelt danger for Hull, but Kevin hasn't got the legs these days, and it was just a bit too far for him to run. Caught by Dane O'Hara.
And could they get caught at the other end? Leeds. It's Sean Patrick now trying to find some space and ground. As far as the 22, the game lining up a little bit. Coming at least to a temporary stop. The penalty.
Mr. Kershaw said that Andy Smith was inside the 5 yards when James, the Hull winger, took the ball. I don't know where he got it from, Tony, but that's his decision. He's given offside against Andy Smith.
Knock and all, straight on towards that line. We'll try and turn, try and make it available. Sean Patrick. Skerritt. Trying to get on with it. Freddie Okoye, that was the switch. There's Crooks. Taken, not taken. Campbell it is. Campbell saw the gap. He was up there in support, getting a pat on the back there first from Gary DePorty and a shake hand from his skipper Lee Crooks. Gary Schofield joins in with the celebrations. But Campbell it was who got on the end of that move. The fullback making himself available, taking the ball and scoring the try. Morris.
And that's the move that Hull they call para four, and Lee Crooks introduced it to the Great Britain setup, and it's worked twice for us, and here it comes. Switch back inside, Lee Crooks comes on an angle, hits the first tackler, makes ground to the head, slips it inside to Campbell, lovely support play, but again, this man Crooks, his ability to slip the ball is creating havoc in the Leeds defence.
Crooks, a chance now to take the point scoring for Hull up to 24. And that not so good. So it doesn't go to 24. And the scoreline now, Leeds 6, Hull 22.
Might be a little bit too much for Lee to do, captain the side, be the kingpin of attack and defence, and also kick goals. Sometimes the concentration leaves you, Tony. I mean, Lee was involved there, did superb work there from this move, this para 4, turned the ball inside to Gary Campbell, and then has the added pressure of at the points. A little bit too much for even Lee Crooks.
James Luluai, Antipodean player. On the half hour, lots of points on the board in this game. Leeds 6, Hull 22. Kevin James, Sean Patrick, Steve Norton, Sean Patrick again, burrowing his way through. And as far as Kevin Dick. Norton, great appetite for the game, so too is this guy, Freddie Okoye, Lee Crooks. Oh, and just deciding, I think quite rightly there, not to let the ball go out to James Luluai. Hull 10 metres inside their own half. Stopped there by the knees. Just noting that the wind here has got up quite strongly in the last few minutes and is now right behind the backs of Leeds.
Lee Crooks has run this game up to now, Tony. He's been in every attacking move that Hull have put on, stood wide, taking the ball normally off either Andy Gascoigne or Fred Okoye, and he's creating absolute havoc in the Leeds defence.
Jeff Gratian, Rain, 1-2, that's Keith. Terry Webb. Half-back Grayson will take it again. No, he won't. He's switching this wide. This is David Heron. The break a few moments ago, and that falls loose. Crooks straight in again. Does he have it? Yes, he does. And just the man with the hat, somewhat concerned, will be Peter Fox at the moment. And Hull have got back possession. Carl Arnott. Thought Gary Devorty was going to get a little run, but it's Andy Gascoigne who just burrows his own way in. And Devorty goes to acting half-back. Here's Norton. Crooks is not next, he's missed out.
That's hand over again, Tony, on the 6th tackle.
And Leeds with possession. And catching them offside. They're not far enough back when the handover is taken, I think.
Mr. Kershaw's holding his hand up, showing 5 fingers. That means that Hull were inside the 5 metres, not back in an onside position, consequently penalised.
Kevin Dick. Roy Powell. Dick. Range. Again, Kevin Dick in acting half-back. Jeff Gratian. Outside him was Rain, but Heron just taking the ball there. Dick scuttling towards the post. Gratian will make a little further ground. Knocker Norton won't let him go any further, and he's assisted anyway by Carl Arnott.
We might see the kick at any time here, Tony.
It's Rain back inside. Terry Webb trying to find ground. Roy Powell too. Grabbed and making sure he couldn't release the ball by Lee Crooks.
Kick into the corner, no.
This is Gratian. Big, strong, gives all, but all is not enough just there.
Gave a little bit too much there, Tony. The ball should have been put in the air. Last tackle, they don't want to be driving it into the post in a situation like that.
Change over. And Hull just under the shadow of their own posts. 6 minutes of this first half remaining. And the scoreline, Leeds 6, Hull 22. Crooks. Oh, and that release of that ball is going to make good yardage. And that release doesn't really mean very much at all, but I think they saved in the end, and Knocker Norton has it on this side. Hull managed to make a fair bit of ground, and they're still moving that ball about. Oh! A chapter of errors eventually. Carl Gibson with it now. For Leeds. Heron. And Hay will bring himself to his feet. His half-back partner, Kevin Dick, acting half-back. Here's Heron again. Oh, strong running. This fella can go a little bit. Fairly strong player, Kevin Rain. Very strong player. But it all goes wrong a little bit on that far side.
If Kevin turns to his left, he finds David Creaser steaming up towards the post. I don't think he would have caught Creaser. As it was, he turned to his right and had to, in the end, give a forward pass out to Norman Francis on the right wing.
And I'm just noticing way to the left of our picture, underneath the posts, that the Hull player is receiving attention. The game, of course, the rugby league goes on, as it actually interferes with play.
Looks like young Arnott, Tony, the second row forward. Was that such a good game up to now?
Also looks like he's leaving the field. But never mind. Still Hull making ground, swinging the ball around. This is Schofield. Carl Gibson brought in the tackle. Gary Devorty acting half-back. Oh! Well, Leicester being allowed at the moment to make a few mistakes and get away with them. Lee Crooks cleans up. At least for the moment, Leeds keeping Hull in their own 22.
Hull seem just to have gone off the ball a little bit, Tony, since the last try. Whether or not a bit of complacency is setting in, I don't know, but it could be disastrous for them if it did.
And the man on the floor receiving attention, Carl Arnott, played a good part in this game. Problems, I think, with the leg around the ankle. Meanwhile, we have the scrummage down. For the moment, at least out of the game. That scrimmage waiting to be restarted. Knocked the knock on, the ball going backward from his hands, although he had to scuttle around a little bit to get a hold of it. Andy Gascoigne. Gary Devorty.
This number 15 that's come on, Tony Hull, have got the ball now. Paul Wellham is another one of the myriad of good young players that Hull have on the books.
Well, Maurice, I'll go racing for my dictionary at the end of the game and try and discover what myriad means. But in the meantime, Hull still with possession. We Trevor Scott. And Devorty's away again. Schofield's with him. Carl Gibson managed to get a hand into the air and keeps hold of the ball as well. And this fella can go a little bit. They brought him from Batley for £50,000. Great Britain player too. Haig, Gratian, Powell. And Leeds just for the moment a little bit onside. Terry Webb, the long pass to Andy Smith. Tries the hand off. The legs are taken away from him. And we've got the break on again. Kevin Dick this time. Can he kick it right through? Lee Crooks is after him. Kevin Dick, well, the last time his little legs wouldn't carry him fast enough. This time there wasn't quite as fast a man alongside him.
No, there was Lee Crooks chasing him, but the two architects there were the Rain twins. Split the whole defence in the middle. Just what we're talking about, Tony. Being a little bit complacent, Hull, giving possession away when they should have had the ball. And the two Rain twins were the architects. Keith put Kevin on a super run. Here we see it. Keith Rain goes into the hole, finds his twin brother coming, steaming into the hole, straightens up tremendously. Kevin Dick takes it inside position, gets the ball, shrugs off one tackle. Lee Crooks comes in from Kevin's right, but he hasn't got the legs to catch a little scrum out, and he just makes a line with a nice, neat dive. But a good try for Leeds. Architects, the Rain twins.
Leeds 10, Hull 22. Creaser, with what I would say now, Maurice Bamford, it's a very important kick.
Yes, and it shows how it's absolutely vital that from the last full trial, Lee Crooks unfortunately missed a kick near the post, how vital it can be. 22-10, if he kicks it 22-12 and Leeds are back in it.
Creaser, around the corner, ball down, stop the clock, says referee Mr. Kershaw. Just waiting for the kick to be able to be taken. Creaser, points on the board. Leeds 12, Hull 22, just 10 points in it. And just as the game was starting to get a little bit away, we thought, from Leeds, they come back. Kevin Dick with the try, David Creaser with the improvement kick. A couple of stoppages in this first half. Half-time almost upon us. The Crooks excavating. And there is the teeth of a gale blowing into the Hull faces. I think a gale that built up about 25 minutes, or suddenly arrived, Morris, 25 minutes into the half.
Yes, and I think in the second half, if it maintains its force, Tony, I think we'll see Lee Crooks using it to greater advantage really than Leeds have done this half.
I think it also, Maurice Bamford in our commentary position, high up here at Headingley, may see us flying off somewhere over the south coast. And there's a little trespasser upon the pitch.
I think he wants to be flying off somewhere, Tony, getting in the way of the players in such a cracking game.
Angling correspondent somewhere behind me says he's looking for worms, and this fella Kevin Dick with a long kick. Oh, and a good kick.
And that's the sort of thing I said earlier, Tony, that possibly Leeds should have been using this high wind to better effect than they have done. Played a lot of the game inside their own half, and with a wind like this, you've got to be playing inside the opponent's 25.
And our papers flying all over the place up here. That little fella still there, oblivious of the fact that we've actually reached half-time. He is. But the coaches, I'm sure, will have a word or two to say. In Hull's case, I think those words might be over the subject of a little complacency. And in Leeds' case, Maurice Bamford having to say, well, OK, let's just shrug off all that happened in the Challenge Cup. We've got to get on with this now. And we've got points that we've got to chase.
I don't think it is a Challenge Cup with the Leeds first half performance, Tony, in as much as because of the Challenge Cup. I think it's tired limbs.
As we see, Lee Crooks there, the number 8 going off. He covered nearly every blade of grass in the first half for Hull.
Superb first half display.
Roy Powell going down the tunnel. Very strong player. Jeff Gratian, the number 8. And look at number 7 there, Kevin Dick. Certainly played his part in the first half, Morris.
Yes, he did. He kicked not as much as I'd have liked to see. When he kicked accurately and kicked with a bit of thought. But his last try was worth seeing. A fairly good half-back from Kevin.
So a quick wrap on that first half then. Dana O'Hara with the first try for Hull. Lee Crooks' goal. A few minutes later, nice sidestep. Gary Devorty in for the try. Simple arithmetic, 2 more points from Lee Crooks. Gary Schofield then on the try sheet. And Lee Crooks getting a goal as well. Just before that, we've seen a try from Jeff Gratian. David Creaser had goal that one, and that was 6-12 before Schofield got that try that Crooks goal. Gary Kemble then coming up, the fullback, to aid the attack. Good little try there, taking a bit of opportunism, and Lee Crooks goal as well. Or rather, Lee Crooks didn't goal on that occasion, going just wide, and it was Leeds 6, Hull 22. Finally, though, Kevin Dick getting Leeds back into the game. Good little try. David Creaser goal that one, and at half-time, only 10 points between the sides. Leeds 12, Hull 22. Should be a very interesting second half indeed on Screen Sport. Join us for it.
Recovery.
And it was Leeds 6, Hull 22. Finally, though, Kevin Dick getting Leeds back into the game. Good little try. David Creaser goal that one, and at half-time, only 10 points between the sides. Leeds 12, Hull 22. Should be a very interesting second half indeed on Screen Sport. Join us for it.
Recovery.
Next Monday on Screen Sport.
Welcome back to Headingley, and welcome to our own personal sun patio, which is a rather cold sun patio this afternoon. I think there's probably been some rather warm words sent in one or two of those changing rooms down there, Maurice Bamford. They're just coming out onto the pitch at the moment. What do you think that Peter Fox might have said to the Leeds side?
Well, they can't ask for any more than they've given. Remembering the two semi-finals that's been on, Tony, it's absolutely vital that Leeds win this match to maintain this top four spot. And I don't think the players can give Peter any more than they've given him. It's not bad play, it's not that a bad side, they're a very good side of Leeds. I think the operative thing is that they've played these two hard matches against Hull Rovers, and it's taken its toll. And it's nice to see that Paul Medley, the Leeds number 14, has been put on. He'll inject a little bit of pace, a bit of youthful exuberance, a bit of enthusiasm in the side. And possibly this is the only little facet that's been missing. A bit of other than tiredness, Tony, you know, a bit of enthusiasm and a bit of pace, which Leeds couldn't muster, only in very short spasms in the first half.
Referee Mr. Kershaw making a quick sprint. It's now the picture. There he is now, coming to the centre. And it'll be Kevin Dick to restart. Lively player in the first half. Going to try for Leeds just towards the end of that first half. That David Creaser goal. So the gap just between the sides, some 10 points. Lee Crook's ball to boot, all the way to Mark Conway at the other end. Conway takes it quite safely.
I think we saw early doors there, Tony, the use of the wind. I think Hull will be using this wind to drive themselves out of their own danger area, their own 25, and up into the lead, deep into the lead half.
Leeds trying to get out of that half at the moment and into Hull territory. David Heron, the lead skipper. Leeds fairly sure of a place in the Premiership, the first 8 playoff. But Hull nowhere near as sure, but victory for them today would certainly be the right direction.
I think Leeds want to ensure themselves a home tie, Tony, you know, in the top 4 spot.
First 4, yeah.
And the points against Hull are absolutely vital. Tantamount to a 4-pointer.
2 front rows go down, the scrummage, everything but in the right direction at the moment. Gascoigne, good move for Hull, they keep it going. Schofield still manages to hang on to the ball, takes play over to the far side of the field. Gascoigne looking for a gap, finds the blue shirts of Leeds. Just outside the Leeds 22, Crooks is looking for the gap and he's finding it. Strong, hard pumping legs there. Skip it. Schofield with the drop goal attempt.
And it's there. Good kick.
Yes, and good reason for it as well.
Yes, it gives Hull break the ice first in the second half, which is always vital. Good score there, making Leeds 12, Hull 23. Good point, that.
Drop goal. Gary Schofield, the man who latched onto the opportunity. Good position for it. And the kick, inch perfect. They'll get possession, be it close on their own lines.
Skerritt's had a very strong game at 10 for Hull. Always in the thick of the action, both on attack and defence. And so is the hooker, Sean Patrick, and of course, my man of the matchups are now Lee Crooks.
Steve North. And there's your fella Crooks, and look at this break again. It's on here. Schofield has it. Schofield, is he going to get to the sticks? No problem at all. No one's going to catch him. Perfect pass was made before that. That was made by James Luluai. Morris, Gary Schofield will be delighted about that one, but the supply was exactly what he wanted.
Yes, and Knocker Norton and Lee Crooks in the build-up there that put James Lulai side and throw, and of course Schofield's a tremendous support player. Here we see it from the play the ball action. Gascoigne to Knocker Norton looks to his right, finds Lee, steaming through. Look how Lee stands up here in this tackle and slips. What a beautiful pass of a ball under pressure. Lulai, as only Lulai can, straight through the gap, long stride, turns inside to possibly the fastest man on the field, and Gary just pins his ears back again. Runs, well, look at the action as he runs with that ball. Tucked firmly under his right arm, the left arm pumping, the legs going. Superb action for any young player watching this, and he scores a super try.
And as we saw on Screen Sport a couple of weeks ago, none of that silliness of the arm in the air 5 yards before he got there. Far too professional for that. Schofield. 2 more. And the score moves on. Leeds 12, Hull 29. And really, Peter Fox's men have got to pull something out of the hat now, Morris.
Well, straight away from that drop goal, which was the first vital score of the second half, almost straight away from the drop goal, we have an almost 100-yard try. Gary DeVoe to track the ball from the kick-off, gave to James took his tackle, and away they went.
And Lee Crooks, the Hull skipper there, having a little attention. Very much involved with that try. But he's up as soon as he's had the attention, like a salmon leaping up into the air.
This is certainly Lee's day today. Certainly his day.
And Hull again coming up to the halfway line. First substitute. 15. Paul Wellham there, had the ball for a moment. Ready Okoye. That'll be fielded by Norman Francis. Ball's over in the process.
There we see the whole game plan being put into operation, Tony. Kicking the ball deep into the Leeds 25, keeping them there, out of their own danger area, and then do your tackling deep inside the Leeds out.
Mark Conway with the ball. Kevin Dick. And good moving all the way along. Carl Gibson now tries to cut inside, and there, Lee Crook again. Round the ankles, you don't run with them trapped. And up to the halfway line goes Paul Medley. The fine try in the Great Britain-France Colts game we saw.
And another superb tackle by Lee Crooks on Carl Gibson. Another superb tackle by Lee.
Sean Patrick, receiving the ball against him, it goes out of play halfway between the Hull 22 and the halfway line. The scrimmage with Kevin Dick putting the ball back. Mark Conway. One thing for certain, Maurice Bamford at the moment, all the viewers on Humberside be delighted with the scoreline at the moment. A scoreline that Leeds are trying to change, but they won't there.
Yes, it's nice. It's very, very interesting indeed to hear that so many people take this channel on Humberside, and I'm sure that the Boulevarders, the early birds who haven't travelled today will certainly enjoy it when they see it on screen.
And those that would argue, and I'm sure quite vociferously, that really is the hotbed of rugby league on Humberside.
Oh, I'll say every level, professional, amateur and youth. Marvellous place to be if you're interested in rugby league.
Schofield with another kick, but is that going to reach those chalk dust marks? Yes, it just, oh, not quite. Mark Conway cuts it out. Conway with a job on his hands to get anywhere at all. For the last slate on the roof was Paul Wellham. Charging in Andy Smith. Resulting.
Yes, well, I think Paul got a little bit over enthusiastic. He tipped Andy Smith up and then wouldn't let him get up. Mr. Kershaw rightfully gave a penalty, holding down.
Big player Brendan Hill, under 21 international, come on for Leeds.
When he played in the under-21 international at Whitehaven against the French, Tony, the Whitehaven Cumbrians nicknamed him the refrigerator, from the guy that plays American Gridiron.
Take us through that one, Morris. I mean, what does it actually say? They call him refrigerator because why?
Well, all you've got to do is look at Brendan's shape, and he's a very aggressive sort of player, and when he comes in, he comes very hard indeed. And certainly not because of his colour. He's a white man, of course. The refrigerator's a coloured boy. But I think it's purely to do with shape and attitude towards the game.
What they were saying, I think, Maurice, was if he shuts the doors on you, your lights go out.
Oh, they certainly do. The big, strong boy is Brendan.
Another big, strong boy brought to the deck. Hull with possession. Just inside their own half. Lee Crooks, who wants to be in Leeds territory and doesn't get into it. Andy Gascoigne. Norton. Kick ahead. Plucked out of the air by Norman Francis. Great Britain Colt. Francis keeps going. Gets some help. And Andy Smith. Get some help to the ground and no more than that. As we have 10 minutes recorded on the clock in this game, and the scoreline: Leeds 12, Hull 29. Leeds with possession though. Kevin Dick, scorer of Leeds' second try. Rain. The embrace of both Devorty and Crooks. Medley just over the halfway line.
Another top tackle by Lee Crooks on Medley. Can't give this by an inch, and Crooks knows it.
Oh, well taken. Supplied. Heron's keeping going. I don't think he's going to let go sticks. Yes, he is. The tackle was in by Kevin James. But David Heron, the Leeds skipper, well, he'd taken the ball well before. He backed up well. He moves Leeds on to 16 points. A good try from the captain there. And who knows, this game may well be far from over.
Here we see a beautiful piece of football by Terry Webb, the standing lead hooker. Chips over the top, catches it on the full. Lovely piece of play. Look at David and how he takes up the right-hand support play. Perfect time pass. James comes in well from the left, shows a lot of pace, but David and his momentum just got enough to take him over the last 5 yards to reach and score a damn good try.
And a damn good kick needed now. Although it really should be from straight in front of the sticks. David Creaser, the man with the duty of getting the 2 points. And that moves Leeds on to 18. Hull to 29, and almost as they say in darts, Maurice, you could say now, game on.
It certainly is, but I'd look back on that try and see that the key man in that obviously being Terry Webb with that marvellous kick over. It's a skill that seems to be dying from our game. Terry's an Australian, comes from Brisbane, and they use the kick well in Australian football. We've still got some good kickers of the ball, but they seem to use it at the right time, and we had there a good case in point. Lovely little chip over, re-catch on the full, and created a try for his skipper, Dave Heron.
So Leeds no doubt lifted a little by that. Can they lift themselves a little more? And Hull will want to keep them pinned back where they are at the moment, in their own 22. Terry Webb, the man who made that try. Kevin Dick, the man who scored the one previous to that. And now with Jeff Gratian, that the ball comes out of hands, and it's eventually going to be swallowed up by Gary Devorty. Chance for Hull. Crooks. Andy Gascoigne still keeps going. Lucky little player. Former Bramley lad, Maurice. Andy Gascoigne with you, was he not?
Yes, I had Andy for the year and a half. I was stationed at McLaren Field. He was a very good prospect then, and his move to Hull, it only cost about £8,000. He was possibly the slip of the season. Very, very quick, very good little footballer, and the Stuart signed him by the former coach Arthur Bunton.
Knock on. Straight under the shadow of the Leeds posts. I think Knocker Norton is the culprit of that, in the acting half-back position a few seconds ago. Gratian and Lee Crooks just resting over each other a little bit to go down in the front rows. Kevin Dick put him. Kevin Dick out. Haig. Adam. Not on again. Culprit. That time, Carl Gibson.
And if Carl takes that apparently well-judged pass by David, and Hull are in trouble, even though the Leeds are 75 yards away from the whole goal line. He had a clear run with Andy Smith Buxey on his left-hand side, and there was only James between Carl Gibson and a big try.
Andy Gascoigne. And Peter Fox, no doubt, hoping at the moment that if he just get onto the score sheet again quickly, because I get the feeling that if Leeds did get onto the score sheet, they could be in for quite a game. Looking fairly impassive at the moment, Peter Fox, but whereas Bamford, you know him in many different moods than that.
Yeah, well, you don't have to go and pulling faces and shouting and bawling, do you, Tony? As long as you're doing your job and thinking about your football and making the right decisions sat on the bench. I mean, you only have the few minutes before the kick-off, and you have 5 minutes or 10 minutes at half-time to make decisions for your players, and then it's up to them when they go out on the field.
I think not long ago in Invade France on Screen Sport, you want to describe sitting on that bench. Now, give us those words again.
Well, I've described them.
Purgatory for a start.
Oh, purgatory, yeah, well, it is, yeah. I mean, you're not playing. We're all-to-all to play now that's coaching, and most of us are, but coaching is the next best thing to playing, Tony, but it can be very, very, very delicate, to say the least on occasions.
Like the back, I would think, at the moment of Andy Gascoigne's neck, rather delicate. It's just outside the 22.
Now, that's an unusual penalty. Mr. Kershaw's given it, and you can see his action there. He's given it for Leeds collapsing the scrimmage. I don't know any professional footballers that collapse scrimmages on purpose. If it's an accident, I can't see how I can penalise Leeds, but there we have it.
But still the resulting effect of that. Gary Schofield hoofs the ball out on the right-hand side. And Hull will run an assault on the Leeds line.
Been very impressed with Travis Gerrard today. He's had a very powerful game at 10.
Gets to his feet. Strong running in. Paul Windley. Norton. Schofield. On this far side, there's a chance now for Dane O'Hara. Keeps that ball moving, Andy Gascoigne. About 5 metres from the Leeds line. Sean Patrick. Crooks. He takes some stopping, there's this fella. And he sees that line. Almost like a flag go for the honeypot. Freddie Acoy. Acting halfback. Dummy almost bought by our cameraman, but not quite. Not quite bought by Leeds either. Kevin Dix at the top of that pile. There it goes, up from Lee Crooks. Into Andy Smith's hands now. And just on to the outside of him was Mark Conway, and he wasn't able to get it to release. Carl Gibson trying to thread his way through the eye of a needle.
So a nice variation then of the kicking in from Lee Crooks, Tony. It wasn't a bomb to the post, it was what we call a face kick. That's a high kick across the face of the post, aimed at the far winger. Beautifully judged kick by Lee, but Hull didn't put the winger under pressure. Didn't put Andy Smith under pressure enough.
Conway trying to work them. Leeds, that is, out of the 22. Haig, Terry Webb, Jeff Gratian. Haig not managing to get it that time, but Leeds are somewhat fortunate. David Heron manages to keep his feet. Rain. And still on the fifth tackle. Hull keeping Leeds where they want them to be, inside the 22. Haig, Rain. Dick. Little Kevin Dick. Real hardy little customer. Held for the moment by Travis Gerrard. Oof. Young Medley, Great Britain Colt player, barging in. Heron again, Gratian, Rain.
Some good forward play by Leeds in this passage, Tony. Very good shot support work by the Leeds forward. Just again, missing a link out to the three quarters.
Heron trying to inspire his side. Takes them to almost the halfway line. Gratian again. It's the long kick. They bounce high into the air. Eventually safely into the hands of Dane O'Hara. Gives Luluai a chance for a run. O'Hara gets it back in return. And takes us to the halfway line. We're going into the final quarter of the game. A reminder of the scoreline. Leeds 18, Hull 29. Possession with Hull. Lee Crooks. Skerritt. Skerritt down as quick almost as he has it, down again.
And that's got to be a penalty to Leeds for offside. David an offside behind Trevor Skerritt when he tapped the ball forward, and Heron pulled Skerritt down from an offside position. Good decision by Mr. Kershaw.
Gary Schofield got himself a bag full of points in this game. A couple of tries, several goals, and a drop goal. 11 points there between the sides. 18 to Leeds, 29 to Hull. The Skerritt takes play up to the Leeds 22. Paul Wellham. Norton. Patrick. Switching play. Crooks keeps it going. Wellham again.
That's a set piece that brought Gary Kemble's try, that para four, working it well. They also worked a variation on it.
Freddie Acoy manages to keep it now. James Luluai, Dane O'Hara outside him. New Zealander to New Zealander to New Zealander. But ends up in the hands of Gary Devorte. Schofield, butterfingers on that occasion. Schofield, oh so dangerous whenever he gets in possession of the ball, particularly when he has the try line in sight. But on that occasion, the knock-on.
Yes, that's true. He's very, very dangerous player indeed. But I thought Gary Devorte did particularly well there when he straightened play up, picked up a loose ball, straightened it up, and actually really forced Gary into a gap. And Gary, unfortunately, couldn't hold the ball. But a nice passage of play for Hull.
And Hull, again, territorially, having the game where they'd like to have it played. In the Leeds 22, and Conway, Freddie Acoy's hand just getting him down by the ankle, right on the 22. Adam. Haig, Gibson, oh, and if Gibson can get space, it's into City. He still keeps going, he's on that halfway line. A measure for the second of just how dangerous that player could be. £50,000, big favourite of the fans over here. Since he arrived from Batley. Almost on the halfway line. Leeds with possession that they need. Medley, a little hurt, Kevin Dick, Rain. Dick quickly back in, attacking half-back. Outside him, he's got his skipper, David Heron. What will he do? Grayson has to duck to get out of the way of that one. Comes back to Medley. Takes us almost back to where we were before. Mark Conway up, now in acting half-back position, the full-back.
See Leeds kick here, Tony.
Haig. And they come away, do Hull through Dane O'Hara. Kevin Dick up there quickly, assisted by Teddy Webb. James Luluai, an acting half-back.
If Hull take it to their right, there are 3 Leeds forwards. They've come the wrong way, James. If we took it the other way, there were 3 Leeds forwards in a line.
Patrick. Wow. Gascoigne. Devorte. Crooks. Mark Conway's going to have to scuttle back, and that, well, Maurice Bamford,
that was one superb kick. He measured it on, as we used to say in the olden days, Tony, on a tanner. He just put it in between and over the heads of Andy Smith and Mark Conway, dropped it between them beautifully, just in a position where they couldn't catch the ball, and its momentum took it on. Superb kick. What a superb player this boy is.
A bit born, I think, a little after the time of the Tanners. Scrimmage down. 10 metres from the Leeds line. Leeds being forced back when they break out at the moment, and knowing that they need a try and a goal to really get back into this game. But Hull looking the more likely of the two sides to score just at this moment. O'Hara's on the outside. Freddie Acoy, though, not able to release it to him. Gary Schofield in acting half-back. Here's Luluai. O'Hara, try on.
Yes, clever play there by Gary Schofield, acting half-back. He took it blind to a call from James Luluai when all the Leeds defence were sort of covering the open side, and a very good little blindside set piece there. Driven it in once to the left and took it down once more. There we see it. Turns there, 180 degrees, sends Luluai in. A beautifully timed pass by James. and the strength of O'Hara as he props in from Norman Francis just makes a line. Very well worked, Sean.
Very interesting directional changes there too, which I think caused Leeds.
Yeah, working the blind side, Tony. You can't beat it, especially a team that's tired. If you take it open and run into them, they'll tackle you all day. But just work it blind, work the blind side a couple of times, and you find gaps appear.
So Leeds 18, Hull move on to 33. The kick still to come. Gary Schofield with that. And with a couple more in the bag.
Beautiful kick. With the wind, with the assistance of the wind, into the wind, and the gale did the rest. Beautiful kick.
So Schofield, at least for the moment, having taken over the kicking. And that moves the scoreline to 35 points for Hull, 18 for Leeds. Certainly is developing Morris Bamford into a very high-scoring game.
Yes, it's in our pre-match interview we talked about it, Tony, that if Hull got stuck in and used the vast experience of the players, especially fellas like Lee Crooks and Trevor Skirrett, and they could make a torrid afternoon for Leeds, and that's just what they've done up to now.
Scrum down in the sunshine here at Headingley. An altercation a moment or two ago between the two captains. David Heron of Leeds, Lee Crooks of Hull. Andy Gascoigne. Oh, not that way, I'll try this way. And we'll have that, says Luluai. Tony Akoi joins in, Andy Gascoigne gets back on the move, Dale O'Hara's on the outside. It's snuffed out at least for the moment. 15 yards inside Leeds territory, and for the moment Hull are rampant. Wellham.
Andy Gascoigne did well in that build-up there, Tony, from the set scrum. Beat Kevin Dick, came the other way, and handled twice.
Crooks. And once again, Leeds under pressure. Schofield trying to find a way. Switches it back inside. Kevin James. Sean Patrick. Windley. Crooks. Kick ahead. Francis. Nowhere to go.
Little bit too shallow there from Lee. Possibly the first mistake he's made all afternoon, if I dare say he made a mistake, because he's had a superb game. A little bit deeper, possibly, that kick. He dropped it down Norman Francis's throat instead of turning the lad round and chasing back towards his own line.
Brendan Hill. Gibson. Oh yes, there you go. Can he open it up? Well, it's sort of put into himself in the envelope eventually there, and Hull shut the envelope with him. Medley looking for someone, finds Ray. Who in turn finds himself in the clutches of Phil Whitney. David Heron.
Got some nice touches from Dave Heron today, Tony. He's had a very sound little game as skipper as David today. Nice little footballer. Possibly lost a yard of pace he had 4 or 5 years ago, but he's made up now with his handling expertise, and his eye for an opening's still there.
Hill's possession. Crooks. Schofield. There you go again.
It's a great kick, and that's the game plan we talked about. Ken Fulksler told them at half-time to use this wind, hit the ball high when you're far away, and hit it low when you want to make it ground.
So Leeds then tries 3 to try 6 of Hull. Goals 3 to 5. Andy Akoi not able to hold on to it. The play will come back with a scrum down on the lock.
And if Fred can catch that ball, Tony, they're in trouble. Leeds again, but he couldn't hold it.
And what there, you know, a measure, Morris. The thing I love about rugby league, family game that can come here. You don't need to worry about your kids coming.
Yes, and that lad, the tallest of the two there, actually is Barry Seaborn's son, Peter Seaborn. I know him. Just picked 2 boys up, I know.
The Bradford Northern coach.
The Bradford Northern coach, yeah.
I'm sure the director knows everybody in rugby league, so they are even picked out this size. Once again, Hull with possession. Trevor Skerritt. Not a bad game at all, is Trevor. Wellham. This boy Wellham, since he's come on, you know, he's covered a fair amount of the team.
Yes, well, he's a first matter in the first team experience. He's a young, strong lad, and he's, as I say, he's one of the many that Hull have on the books. And Ken Fox, and of course his predecessor Arthur Bunting, signed these youngsters well, and now they're getting the benefit.
We've had 9 tries in this game. Leeds will wish we hadn't. They've got 3 of them. Hull have had 6. Freddie Acoy in the acting half-back. Lee Crooks. Good job of the battering ram for the moment. Just inside the 22.
That man again, Gary Schofield were right up behind him when Lee took the ball in there. If Lee gets a chance to slip it, he sends Gary in again to the sticks.
Another Gary there, not making the best of that one. No, knocking on Gary Devorty. With just 10 minutes remaining in this game. Reminder of that scoreline: Leeds 18, Hull, they have 35. Kevin Dick. David Crease has not seen too much of the ball in this game. Norman Francis for the moment. Terry Webb in acting half-back, which I imagine preferring the climate of Australia for that freezing cold wind that Leeds are playing into at the moment. David Heron.
Good tackle there by Gary Devorty. Spotted David and well, 13, tackled the 13. Cracking bit of defence.
Kevin Dick actually managing to thread his way through there, but still captured eventually. And Leeds in a territorial jail at the moment of their own half. Rain. Kevin, that is. Heron. Oh. Francis. Well, we'll all have a go. Eventually, Leeds end up back with it. Heron. Teresa. Just managed to be plucked out of the air by Brendan Hill. Eventually ending up with Carl Gibson. But Leeds losing a lot of ground. Haig. And there's no room over there. Kevin Dick. Jeff Gratian.
And a top tackle in again from Lee Crooks. Spotted 2 big men tackling one another there. Lovely cover tackle by Lee.
There's another big man, Brendan Hill. But 2 and 3 of them to topple his superstructure. Rain. On the 6th tackle. Kevin Dick. What can he do with it when eventually on the 6th tackle, Leeds looking in all sorts of confusion.
Well,
at least Paul Medley was.
Leeds used a 6 tackle alternative then, Tony. They didn't kick the ball. Instead of kicking the ball, the Hull wingers had dropped back. Leeds astutely tried to move it. It's what they call a 6 tackle alternative. You're not forced to kick the ball on the 6, and Leeds decided to move the ball, and with a little bit more accuracy in passing, could have split Hull on the right-hand side.
And it's on this right-hand side now that they scrimmage down 10 metres from the 25 of Hull. Right, Conway unable to hold that one. The referee says it went forward.
The idea was perfect there, using the first centre up as a decoy and hitting the full-back coming into the middle of the line. But of course the conditions aren't suitable for it. The long passes are inclined to blow about a bit, Tony, and that's just what happened there from Neil Haig to Mark Conway. The pass blew in the wind and Leeds have lost possession.
Hull are penalised, which will give Leeds the chance to move a little bit nearer to the Hull line. David Creaser. It's probably what he thought was a break, and it didn't turn out to be. Heron. Gratian.
The whole defence is swarming all over the bigger Leeds forwards, though. Jeff Gratian hadn't been given any room, and neither has Brendan Hill.
Heron. Still 10 metres from the Hull 22 he's on. Kevin Dick. Medley. Oh, Medley is going to be very near there indeed. He's going one way, then the other way. And he just flicks the ball back. Good tackle brought in by James Leilowai.
Now that's the strength of Paul Medley. That's why he's a great number 21 player, and he's got to put his name in time. At 19-year-old, if he can produce runs like that, he's got to be an international in the future.
International tackle too it was from Leilowai, who had the sight of Medley going on one leg and then on the other in front of him, and took one of the legs away. Crooks. Hull's given him the red in the face. I won't mind that at all. Schofield again, but this time Mark Conway, letting the ball go past his feet eventually. Not, I think, by choice. Norman Francis on the outside of him. Runs round Knocker Norton. Not Dane O'Hara. Francis.
Strong runner, Norman Francis.
And chance of a late move. A little consolation for Leeds, but not that way. And Hull giving absolutely nothing away in the game.
No, the defence is swarming, like we said earlier. So means some very, very big hits. This looks good again. Medley just taking a very good tackle there from Andy Gascoigne. Lovely cover tackle by the little scrum half.
Jeff Gratian. Aaron Rain.
Leeds might be just be inclined now, even at this stage of the game, Tony, to be turning it back about 2 passes too soon. They're just turning the ball back again into the tight hole defence.
And that kick from Jeff Gratian straight to Dane O'Hara. Creaser and Gratian himself eventually bring O'Hara to a temporary full stop. Just 5 minutes, little stoppage time in the game in this second half, with Hull at the moment with possession, defending their lines. The ball going out just below us.
There again, Tony, we saw the value of this beautiful line kicking from the disciplined Hull kicking game. Something we didn't see much of in the first half from Leeds, when they should have, I think they should have used this win a little bit more, but Hull have certainly used it in the second half, just like I said at half-time, and they've gained many, many a yard by it.
And I don't think, in fact, Leeds had quite the advantage of the win from the beginning of the game. I think it was
always going the same way, Tony, but it did develop strength during the first half, but it was always going the Leeds way in the first half. They had the win in the first half, and I don't think they used it enough. Again, possibly a bit of tiredness, a bit of fatigue from the 2 hard matches. If you look at 1 or 2 of the Leeds players, we can see them from our vantage point. Neil Haig looks a bit drained. And looking across, David Creaser does, both played in those matches against Hull Kingston Rovers.
And of course they played a game in between with Bradford Norton as well.
Yes, they did. And of course they had the 4 terribly hard matches, 2 league and 2 cup ties against Widnes. It's good football.
Creaser. Kevin Dick. Score of a try at the close of the first half. Dave Helen. Haig. Conway. Gary Schofield, his jailer for the moment. Herron again. Haig. Just popping out from under Paul Medley's arm. And into the hands of Trevor Scott. Gary Schofield again in acting half-back. I wonder whether we might, still a couple of minutes of this game remaining, get to see another try. Sean Patrick, not a bad game at all for him. Scarrett. Jeff Gratian says, give it here. Scarrett says, I won't, and doesn't.
I think the star performers up front have been the complete front row for the Boulevarders. Crooks, Patrick, and this man Scarrett's at the top gear.
Andy Gascoigne. North, Lee Crooks. Dane O'Hara not able to hold that one. Terrace is just a little sparse today. Haig. Creaser. Given short shifts by Phil Windley. David Heron. Shoulder dummy, finds Carl Gibson. What can he do? Not into a wall like that very much.
Well, 3 Hull players are knocking Gibson down. This defence is absolutely swarming now for Hull. They've tackled him fairly well all day, but crucial stages like this.
Rain on this side, Creaser. Francis was there, but again, Hull very quickly over. Not making the tackle, Lee Crooks.
Lee Crooks.
Windley. Oh, he wants to get there. Not in any way a quitter, Paul Medley. Kevin Dick. Short-term headache for Lee Crooks. Dane O'Hara. Buddy Acoy, an acting half-back. Gascoigne. Windley. Trevor Skerrett. Gascoigne again. Heron and Creation make the Gascoigne sandwich. Norman Francis will feel that.
Good tackle there from Sean Patrick. Stopped the big, strong wingman in full flight. Head on.
Andy Smith. Tries to go past Crooks. Doesn't get any joy that way. And has a go at Paul Wellham again. Doesn't get any joy there either. Heron. The Leeds captain held up there by both Skerrett and knocking on. Haig. Terry Webb's pass to Jeff Gratian. Rain. Now Gibson. Back inside to Andy Smith. Would love to find Gibson again. Almost does, but not quite. There's the hooter. It's not Leeds' day. It is Hull's. A little bit of a pitch invasion there. Let's go back quickly over that scoring. It started with a Dane O'Hara try. Goal by Lee Crooks that gave Hull a 6-point lead. It wasn't long before Gary Devorty got the try, but Lee Crooks again goal to make it 12 points to 0. And then, with the old warhorse himself, Maurice Bamford, Jeff Gratian, and we appear in the middle of that to have a degree of confusion. The game isn't over. The pitch is cleared again. We still have time to go. The bomb. Back out. Who's going to eventually get to that? It's Gary Devorty. Says it's mine. A few seconds later, Maurice Bamford. And I think we'll take up from where we were. Jeff Gratian getting the try after 18 minutes that brought Leeds, at least temporarily, back into the game.
Yes, it did, and it was, as we said earlier, we saw it on TV, Tony, it was a very soft try for Jeff, but undeserved. He's had a fair game today, Jeff, but it put Leeds slap bang back into the game.
And David Creaser goal, that one, to improve them a little bit more, and it was Leeds 6, Hull 12. Then Gary Schofield got the try. Lee Crooks goaled that one. Shortly after half-time, Gary Kemble, another try. Lee Crooks failed with that one, and it was 6-22. Kevin Dick a try. David Creaser goaling after that, and the score just kept on rolling on.